One reason always given for the Electoral College over popular election is that it balances the interests of heavily populated states with smaller states. Another is that most Americans of the day lack sufficient information to intelligently select the president. But the deeper political divide was between the North and the South over the issue of slavery. At the Philadelphia Convention, Pennsylvanian James Wilson proposed direct national election of the president, but the savvy Virginian James Madison responded that such a system would prove unacceptable to the South. In a direct election system, the North would outnumber the South, whose many slaves, more than 500,000 in all, of course could not vote. But the Electoral College instead let each Southern state count its slaves, albeit with a 2/5 discount, in calculating its share of overall count. Virginia was awarded the largest number, 12 out of the total 91 electoral votes allotted at the Pennsylvania Convention, more than a quarter of the 46 needed to win an election in the first round. After the 1800 census, the Free State of Pennsylvania had 10% more free persons than Virginia, but got 20% fewer electoral votes. Perversely, the more slaves Virginia or any other slave state bought or bred, the more electoral votes it would receive. Were a slave state to free any blacks who then moved north, the state would actually lose electoral votes. The system had a pro-slavery tilt when the Constitution was ratified. For 8 of the Constitution's first 9 presidential terms, a white slave-owning Virginian occupied the presidency. Southerner Thomas Jefferson, for example, who won the 1800 election against Northerner John Adams in a race where the slavery skew of the Electoral College was the decisive margin of victory. Without the extra electoral votes generated by slavery, the mostly Southern states that supported Jefferson would not have sufficed to give him a majority. Thomas Jefferson, who owned hundreds of slaves, was elected president on the backs of slaves. In 1796, the contest between Adams and Jefferson had featured an even sharper division between Northern and Southern states. Thus, at the time of the 12th Amendment, tinkering with the Electoral College system rather than tossing it out, the system's pro-slavery bias was not a secret. Indeed, in the floor debate over the amendment in the late 1803, Massachusetts Congressman Samuel Thatcher complained that the representation of slaves adds 13 members to this House in the present Congress, and 18 electors to the president and vice president at the next election. But Thatcher's complaints were unredressed. Once again, the North caved and the South by refusing to insist on direct national election. This is a less flattering account of the Electoral College in the late 18th and early 19th century. Americans have always questioned whether or not we should maintain this old system.